That's kind of fair. That is kind of fair. That's so unfortunate. But at the same time, you can't. It's such an unfortunate situation, though. Yeah, probably, yeah. Hey, badass. Fair enough. Damn. Damn. Hey, at least, I will say, at least she got this out off her chest now. You know, like, and it didn't, like, bubble up even farther along as Ray. Yeah. Okay, hold on. The Kin Clan is the heart of AIZO Academy. Okay. So they're trying to so this is all the Curry favor. That makes sense. But genuinely, genuinely, I don't even know if Raven actually cares about his highness in that way. She's already beginning to crack. The facade is slowly falling. Already, today we're talking about Though I Am an Inept Villainess episode 2. If you want to see the full 1-hour reaction, you can check it out on Patreon, link in the description down below. Meanwhile, my name is Mark. What's up? Welcome back. I hope you're having a great day. And if you're new here, make sure to like button, subscribe, hype the video, ding the notification bell, engage with the video. Lets me know that people want to see more of this. And with that said, if you're new here, strap in. If you've been here before, you know what to do. Grab your snacks, grab your drinks, grab your notebooks, because I took a lot of notes, man. And let's talk about the episode. So, starting with this, we get to meet, because at the end of the last episode, we saw a girl approach Ray Rin, who is Keigetsu. Now, for simplicity's sake, even though Ray Rin is technically in Keigetsu's body, I'm going to be calling her Ray Rin, except there are times where I do have her written down on here as Keigetsu for the sake of like talking about her in third person. In a way, like, you'll see what I mean. Anyways, the lady introduces herself. We don't see her introduce herself yet, but it like tells us her name. Her name is Lily, and she is a Shu Clan court lady, and she's there to pick up and assist Ray-Rin / Keigetsu with her relocation, because apparently she's being relocated by order of the noble consort because she caused a ruckus, and even though she's innocent, she is not going to be treated the same as before, which honestly I'm not surprised, and I'm kind of surprised that Ray-Rin is surprised, if you ask me. Like, you think, like pragmatically, it makes sense. You want to distance yourself from the person causing the problems, at least for a time. At least in the immediate aftermath, you want to distance yourself. You don't want to immediately reassociate yourself with them. Like, that's just basic rationality right there. And let's see, where are we? Oh yeah, and I wrote down that the noble consort is making a smart move. As I just said, it's a smart move, man. It's a rational move. And we learn that Lily has served Keigetsu for about a year. But we didn't know that because we didn't know that until Ray-Rin asked Keigetsu, asked Lily her name. And unfortunately, Lily took that to mean that that's the amount of recognition, the level of recognition that she has with Keigetsu, is that you have to ask her name, and that's just unfortunate. Like, this is just such an unfortunate timing for them. Like, cause like Ray-Rin, she now has to not only juggle being in a new body, she has to juggle the personal relationships that she had as a Keigetsu. And unfortunately, Ray-Rin also did realize that having to ask her name could indicate that she's a different person, could raise suspicions. And I also wrote down I think I wrote down here. Did I write down here or in the future? Hold on. Okay, no, I didn't. I'll talk about it in the future. Well, a little later. But no, so moving on. We arrive at the Shu Clan palace, and the Shu Clan governed the southern lands and revered fire. Now here's the real question. How does revering fire equal forbidden magic? I mean, we do know more later on in the episode, but at this point, I didn't know much. So I asked the question, how does revering fire equal forbidden magic? turns out it technically doesn't, but it's more from Keigetsu's dad's side. And that also brought up the question of forbidden magic. Does that mean people can just use magic in the world? Or is it like for plot reasons, it's just her that can do it? Like, magic technically exists for the sake of the plot. It exists for her, but no one else. Or is it more of a magic exists and people could use it technically, like with the right conditions being met and all that? That's what I'm curious about. And so, meanwhile, we learn that Ray-Rin is being exiled away from there, away from the palace, which is not surprising. Again, I brought up the real question of why is she surprised? But we also, and Ray-Rin is surprised because in the inner court, the consort and the maiden are supposed to have a bond similar to mother and child. And I mean, fair enough. But at the same time, again, you did try to kill His Highness's butterfly, which sounds so creepy when you think about it that way. It's like calling her his bird in a cage sort of thing. Like it gives me the same ick that a guy calling a girl his bird in a cage his little bird will like give. Like you know what I mean? I hope I'm not the only one who thinks that. Anyways. Another thing that this brought up, the terms mother and father. I don't see mom and dad get used often in this kind of story, this kind of like time period. And is this simply because those words didn't exist back then, or because of purely out of respect, like formality and all that? But then, if it's out of formality, how do you differentiate like respect from like genuine like love for your parent or whatever if you call them mother and father and not like mom or dad or whatever? That's a little thing I'm curious about. If you know the answer to that, let me know in the comments down below. But meanwhile, Ray-Rin is starting to experience what Keigetsu experienced here, in the fact that she's being treated unfairly. She's being looked down upon, talked about, whispered, and Ray-Rin is learning firsthand how different her treatment was compared to Keigetsu's. And yeah, that's what I wrote down. I already said it, but I'm telling you what I wrote down because I like to do that. But if you couldn't tell, as I said, I have a lot of notes, man. And that's just the first page. I have like two. I have one page, 2.5 pages, give or take. Anyways, we learned that Ray-Rin's dream is a self-sufficient life. And we learned that her new room is the rundown building we see in the opening. And it could, I wrote down it could be worse. She could not have a roof. Literally, like, they could have given her a room with no roof. Sure, it has a hole in it, but like, all things considered, could be a lot worse. And we learn that she's been exiled to the farthest corner of the Shu Palace. And I wrote down, damn. Because, like, damn. But at the same time, I'm still not surprised. Like, do not color me surprised the same way she would be. And finally, we get to see about Lily. So, Lily proceeds to spend a minute or two, give or take, or more, crashing out. She is pissed that she gets sent out with Ray-Rin / Keigetsu, and because Keigetsu would demean Lily all the time, calling her a vulgar dancer's girl. And that sucks, man. It's not like she asked to be born to a dancer. What's wrong with dancers? Like, it's a job, right? Like, am I missing something here? It's a job. At the end of the day, it's just a job that people do. What the fuck does it matter? Anyways, and she also called Keigetsu / Ray-Rin an idiot because she tried to kill her. She tried to kill Ray-Rin. she technically tried to kill herself, I guess, in that sense, right in this moment. But like, the point is, calls her an idiot, and now I wrote down that Raven now has to navigate this fucked up situation, and yeah, she does. But then also, at least this boiled over now. Because I wrote this down. At least it didn't boil. At least it boiled over now and not deeper into everything going on. Like weeks or months later, when like it could be a lot worse. Because now that's out in the open, it can be properly managed or handled in some capacity. Now, how would you handle the situation? That's the problem here. So I wrote this down. I mentioned this in the reaction. Again, it's almost an hour long, so you definitely want to check it out. But the problem now, though, is I feel like technically she doesn't have to do this. But I feel like at this point in time, felt like that Raven would have to. She can't completely change the way she treats Lily. She has to at least maintain some semblance of like the old Keigetsu in some capacity, because treating her completely different, as if like she's someone new, would only raise suspicions. But at the same time, as we come to learn, some people it doesn't raise suspicions for some strange reason, aka Shinu. We're gonna talk about him a little later, but for now though, I initially believed that she would have to treat Lily similar to how Keigetsu did, not nearly as harsh, obviously, but like still have that demeanor of Keigetsu in some capacity. But turns out I am far more pragmatic than Raven is. Because like I was like, that's what I thought. Turns out I'm apparently wrong in this situation. But meanwhile, Raven, I wrote down Raven shouldn't be surprised this is how she's being treated. Because again, I do wonder if Raven genuinely forgets that she was brought into the, like, that she is in the body of Keigetsu at times. I genuinely wonder if she forgets that at times with certain things, like for example, forgetting that she just learned that she was demeaned, that Keigetsu demeaned Lily, and yet next scene she's surprised that Lily is crashing out and acting like this. She literally just learned why she's crashing out. She shouldn't still be surprised that she's crashing out. Like, that's what I think. Meanwhile, Lily decides to leave. She abandons her. And she's like, don't bother. You're on your own. I'm not helping you. None of the other court maidens will help you. Sort of thing. So she disappears. And hot take, I don't blame her. I don't blame her at all, man. Like, because she's already has to deal with being lumped together with Keigetsu, Raven. And that's already, like, her reputation's already fucked. It was granted, her reputation was not great because she was a vulgar dancer's girl, daughter, whatever. But at the same time, her reputation just plummeted even more. Like, it's below rock bottom at this point. And so, like, I can't even blame her for just abandoning Raven after this happened. Genuinely. Like, why stick around? Why do all that? Like, what's the worst that could happen now? She's all her reputation, her pride is already below the dirt. What the fuck does it matter now, man? Meanwhile, after she leaves, Raven calls this place wonderful. And she's all happy about how there's so much grass as far as the eye can see, fertile soil, and most importantly, freedom. Which, fair enough, man. I honestly don't... on the one hand, I don't think I'd hate if I was in, like, if I was, like, had, like people, like serving me in that time period and all that. But at the same time, I think I'd want freedom like that, to not have constantly people around me. Like, I don't blame her for being like freedom sort of thing. That's fair, man. And so at the same time, while that's going on, later on, Shinu is his name. Yeah, Shinu, Captain of the Eagle Eyes. He's walking with Bunko, a eunuch, and they're both part of the Eagle Eyes, obviously. And they're going to check on Keigetsu / Ray Rin. And now you see what I mean when I say like they're going to check on, like if it's like specifically mentioned like they're going to check on Keigetsu, or the show specifically mentions Keigetsu in that way, that's what I'm gonna preface with Keigetsu / Ray Rin instead of just saying Ray Rin. It helps me. It more or less helps me differentiate and keep track of what's going on. So that's why I do that. And the reason they're going to check on Keigetsu is because His Highness is worried about Ray Rin being harmed again. And he's suspicious. And here's a new question. Realistically, like, let's be completely real here. What's stopping His Highness from just being like, yo, go assassinate her or something? Like, I'm obviously laws and all that. But as we already saw last episode, he doesn't exactly care about the fairness of the law, with trying to provoke and prod the lion last time. And he still failed at that, might I add. But, like, so like, what's stopping him from just being, like, just making sure she's dead, having her killed? Genuinely. Like, who's gonna stop him? It may be Shinu. Shinu might. But, like, at the same time, His Highness has, like, a lot of people. Like, he could probably have some random family go do it. Like, if we're being honest here. Like, realistically, if I was him, if I was His Highness in this situation, I would consider just sending out an assassin. In this, like, time period, I would just consider sending out an assassin. Get it done, taken care of. That way I don't have to worry about her rising up to, like, take revenge against my butterfly or whatever. Like, if I was him, I would have considered assassinating her at some point. But at the same time, I guess there are laws and precedent and all that, but, like, at the same time, again, as I said, doesn't necessarily care about fairness or laws. Like, that's a little pet peeve I have with stuff like this. Especially in these kind of stories, because I've read stories like this before. I haven't read this one specifically, but I have read stories like this before, in this time period at least. And it always irks me in a way, or like, it's a pet peeve, kind of, when like someone clearly in a position of power that could get away with it won't just take care of a problem so they don't have to worry about it in the future. Like, obviously, for the sake of the story, I don't want him to be successful, but I wouldn't blame him if he sent out an assassin to try to kill her. I wouldn't blame him, because we've already seen his true colors once, what he's willing to do. Like, that's the point. Anyways, I've talked on this for like 2 or 3 minutes, so I'm gonna move on. But yeah, and so they arrive at the place, and they see, or at least Bunko, he sees a what could be a court lady, a servant lady, pulling up weeds and stuff, and he's assuming that Keigetsu is in her room crying about how it shouldn't be her, but then she turns around, the presumed court lady turns around, and it's actually Keigetsu / Ray Rin, and he's surprised, and what proceeds is a series of events of him being surprised at how different she is. And also, unsurprisingly, Keigetsu also treated the eunuchs really badly, man. And like, I'm not surprised. She's willing to treat the court ladies badly. I don't imagine she's willing to be nicer to the eunuchs. Because like, the eunuchs are usually, at least from the stories that I've read, the eunuchs are typically near the bottom of the totem pole in terms of like respect. Sometimes they aren't. It really just depends on the story because I've read different stories. Typically, though, I've usually read like manhwas occasionally, where that have eunuchs and stuff in them. But like my point still stands. Anyways, Ray was weeding the area, and Bunko is surprised that she's doing all that. And so, moving on, they're surprised. Shinu, he asks her, because he's a nice guy, he asks her if there's anything she wants to have. And there is. Ray is a little shy or hesitant to ask. And Bunko, he's like, I knew it. She's showing her true self. She wants money or something like that. Like he has this image of her in his head that is slowly being changed. And eventually she asks him to procure some salt because he did offer to get her something. And she currently has rainwater and potatoes and needs salt. Fair enough, that sounds good to me. And Bunko is of course surprised that she asked for something that simple. Because of course he is, man. That's definitely going to be a running theme in this show, I suspect, is people being surprised by how she's acting now compared to how she was before. And I mean, I'm here for it, as long as it doesn't get old. Like, if it becomes like super, like almost comedic like this almost every time, it might get old for me. But if it's like a genuine, like, oh wow, she's so different now sort of thing, that I could get behind. But if it's like played for almost comedic effect, like with Bunko here, I'm probably not gonna hate it, but it might get a little old for me after a while. And I wrote down that his opinion of Keigetsu is below the dirt. And I don't blame him. In the same way, I don't blame Lily for abandoning her. I don't blame him for having a bad opinion of her based on their personal experiences with her. And we gotta keep in mind, we know that it's not actually Keigetsu, it's Reiren. They don't. So I'm okay. I don't have a problem with them abandoning her or like being so surprised or having such a low opinion of her, because they think this is just Keigetsu. So like that's why I don't have a problem with it. If they knew, for some reason, if they knew that this was Reiren, that'd be a different story, obviously. But because they don't know this is Keigetsu, I'm not gonna hold it against them for how they react to her initially over time. Like if it, even if like months later they're still suspicious of her, fair enough, because she treated them poorly for at least a year, give or take. So like it, because of how long it's been that they suffered under her, for as long as that lasts, I won't blame them for being suspicious of her or wary of her. Because like once they reach a year, sure, or get close to a year, sure, that's when I would hope they would start to see she's different. But at the same time, it is what it is. I'm not gonna hold it against them, mainly because I don't really care about holding it against them, man. They're valid for their feelings. And so after that they leave, and Shinu, and they talk about how she's different. Shinu is like, she did say that she's a completely different person now, although Shinu apparently assumes that she just fully repented in the underground dungeon. And Bunko is like, damn, the underground dungeon is scary, bro. And yeah, it would be if it's not changed something like that. I do wonder, does Shinu genuinely think that? Or does he suspect? I don't think he's stupid, that's the thing. I don't think he's a simpleton either. A himbo? Maybe? But I don't think he's stupid. I think he's like, I think he might suspect something, but like, in front of anyone else, he's gonna assume it's because she repented in the dungeon. But I did write down that I do appreciate, assuming that this isn't like him being sly, but he genuinely thinks this, I do appreciate his straightforwardness. Even not including this, I do appreciate his just straightforwardness. Like, he looks at the facts and he just goes straight ahead. Like, I appreciate that. He's uncorruptible, really. The only time okay, would you say he's corruptible if he bowed to the whims of the prince, his highness last episode, and prodded the lion? I don't think I'd say he's corruptible, because he's like, it was under duress essentially by his highness. And in that situation, he I don't know if technically he had a choice, but at the same time, like, he definitely didn't enjoy doing it. So I don't think he's corruptible, because I feel like corruption would really apply if, like, it turned out he was happy to do it, sort of thing. But if he's not happy about it and just, like, did it because, like, he was ordered to by His Highness, like, and, like, saying no could get him executed on the spot, technically, so, like, yeah. Anyways, moving on. What's her name? Lily. She's doing her thing, trying to get some food. Back in there in the palace or whatever. No one's giving her the time of day. Not surprised with the fact that she is part of, like, Lady. Technically, she's with Lady Keigetsu. So, like, I'm not surprised they're treating her like that, but I do kind of wish they'd have more solidarity. Because, like, it's clear she's not with Keigetsu at this point. But anyways, she's struggling, and she says she doesn't want to help her, but if she doesn't get food, then she herself will starve. So it's like, she kind of needs to get food for both of them, realistically. But as night is falling and she's walking away, she's approached by a lady of ivory silk who's from the Kin clan. So now, this is the stuff I really like, because, like, I love stories with, like, in this kind of world, time period, like, with politics and stuff. I think it's so much fun. But a lady of ivory silk, aka someone from the Kin clan, approaches Lily and offers to make her a Kin clan court lady, a middle court lady. And I have to admit, they know what they're talking. They know how to talk, man. They're smooth talkers. But before that, they would like her to torture Keigetsu / Rin. That's a condition. And I wrote down why, because that's a valid question. And turns out the reason is actually incredibly simple. They want to curry favor with His Highness and his butterfly. Still hate that. Rin. And we learn that the Kin clan is the heart of AIZO economy. Like, they make money move, bro. And this is all on orders of the Lady Kin Seika. So, cool enough. And we learn that Kin Seika, at least according to Lily, Kin Seika wants to go for the seat of second maiden with her merchant spirit. And we learn that the Lady of Ivory Silk that approached Lily, her name is Gaio of the Kin clan. And she also says that she will give Lily a reward for providing a report at the same time, this time of day, on how Keigetsu is doing. And the reward is an accessory, a brooch, a pin, a hairpin. I think it's a hairpin. Like, I've definitely seen the design of it before, like the physical tool that it is. I've seen it before in shows, so I think it's a hairpin. But that's not enough, so she also just gives her a giant sack of rice. Fair enough, man. I like food. If I'm starving, I mean, fair enough, man. And Lily is hesitant, but she ultimately just say yes in that moment. And the lady smiles. And so, I asked this later on, but here's the real question. Well, what makes her think that the Kin clan will keep its word? Now, sure, political deals, it would make sense that they'd happen, that they would work out. Because if no one keeps their end of the deal, who's going to make a deal with them? But at the same time, Lily, as she said it herself, she is the daughter of a vulgar dancer. Again, I don't think that, but everyone else does. So realistically, and she's also the personal court lady to Keigetsu. So who would actually believe Lily if, like, they, turned on her and didn't do it? Like if Lily tried to speak out, who would believe her? Realistically. I think that's the real thing. I think that's what's going to happen. she'll probably be betrayed in the future by them. But anyways, Lily is getting back to the room, and she's shocked by how much Reiren / Keigetsu has gotten done. Also, Reiren has a garden now, which is awesome, bro. It actually looks dope. And she did this all herself, essentially. She had a little bit of help from, like, salt deliveries from Bunko. But otherwise, like, I'm assuming she did most of the garden herself, which is actually pretty cool. And the way she's talking about, she's just so happy talking about all this. And it's adorable, and I'm just happy for her, man. And the food ends up being good. Lily ends up enjoying the food. Lily is suspicious still, but whatever, man. Meanwhile, we get to see Keigetsu in action. Or so we think. Because she's kind of bedridden right now. Which, I asked this last episode, I'll ask this again. Is she really sure she made the right choice? Because, like, Keigetsu is enjoying being spoiled and worried about. That's, like, she's happy, she enjoys that. And she was jealous of Reiren for all this. But why? Like of all the wouldn't it be common? Okay, so wouldn't it be common knowledge that Reiren has a frail body or is struggling like that? Wouldn't it be common knowledge, realistically, in some capacity? Like I question Keigetsu's ability to choose, of all the people, why she had to choose Reiren. Because I don't love Keigetsu. I kind of feel bad for her still, but at the same time, she's clearly being corrupted by the, like, being spoiled and worried about and all that. Like, the power is getting to her head. But I don't fully blame her because of what she's been through, but at the same time, how long can she last with this? Realistically. When or where will her breaking point be? Because if she crashes out, everything will be ruined. And the reason I say that is because she will eventually crash out. That is guaranteed. Because someone like her is suddenly rendered bedridden and has to be completely taken care of. And pestered and all that. Like, she's not going to be... Like, she's happy to be pampered and spoiled and all that. Fair enough. But she was probably pretty active, like walking around, going to do things without a care in the world before, aside from like being hated and all that. And yet, now she can't really do that. I don't know how long this will last for her, but I don't think it'll last long. And if she crashes out, everything will be ruined. I already said that, but it is true. Because like the whole reason this works, her whole thing is working, is because Reiren is like the pinnacle of like innocence or preciousness or something like that. So like right now it's working, but if the facade slips just enough with Keigetsu, they will, like, they could turn on her in a heartbeat, and she could be right back, maybe not right back to how she was as Keigetsu, but she would not be in the same position as she was before. And so meanwhile, at the same time, while Keigetsu is not feeling great, as Reiren, the ladies and all that Tosetsu, they walk in, because they knock on the door, walk in, and they're ready for her training. Because apparently, Reiren, when she's at the pinnacle of being sick, or fever, or nauseous, or whatever, she is like maximum big brain efficiency, apparently. Which, I mean, fair enough, man. Fair enough. But still, like, man. And so it's just funny. Like, she signed up for this, man. She signed up for this. Sure, she might not know on this part, but she signed up for this. And so Keigetsu also was wondering, is this like them being overprotective of her because Reiren's so considered so frail, or something like that? She doesn't think that this is Reiren's movement of like her like choosing to do all this, but it is. Reiren's insane. I thought we already learned that. But meanwhile, at some point, I think it's after this that His Highness comes to visit Keigetsu real quickly as a Rei Rin, of course, and she's kind of cozying up to him. Not surprising. But what's interesting is he says that this is unusual for you. You don't usually do all this like cozying up like that, which I find fascinating because I said it in the reaction itself. Her facade is already slipping, like she's doing something that she doesn't usually do. So her facade is already slipping, and I'm wondering, it's one thing if she crashes out. It's another if I'm gonna hold off on what I was gonna say. I'm gonna save this for a future discussion because I have something I want to think about more before I bring it up here. But meanwhile, at the end, Keigetsu falls asleep. But before she falls asleep, she questions if she can keep going in this body, and I'm like, at least she's asking that important question, bro. Apparently, also, she's the only one who can reverse the body swap. I don't believe her. If one person can do it, someone else can, right? There has to be a way. And finally, Lily is struggling, man. She's struggling. She ends up trying to sleep at the quarters with the court ladies. Doesn't work out for her, man. They kick her out, and she's pissed. She's upset. She's struggling, and on her way back to the room, it seems she's resolved herself to do what the Kin clan wanted, and she falls asleep with a tear in her eye and crying a little bit. And Rei Rin is, of course, awake, and she can hear. And I don't know if she suspects that specifically is going on, the whole torturing her, but she suspects something's going on. She's not stupid. That's the thing. She's very optimistic, but she's not stupid. And so that has been everything I want to talk about for this episode. That's been my review. That's been my recap, and I hope you saw the reaction. Remember, it's over an hour long. It's over on Patreon. You can check it out in the description down below. And while you're down there in the description, make sure you check out my Twitter. Make sure you check out my amulets. You can see everything I'm covering. Check me out on Twitter. I occasionally post on there fun stuff. And in the comments down below, let me know what your thoughts are on my review, on the reaction, or go comment on the reaction itself on Patreon. But seriously, let me know what your thoughts are on this episode, my review, my suspicions, my questions, all that jazz. I am very curious, as always, to know what you all are thinking. And with that said, thank you all so much for watching. Engage with the video, like and subscribe, the notification bell. Again, engage with the video. It lets me know that you wanna see more of this, because I'm enjoying the show, but I'm not gonna post it if no one wants to watch it, sort of thing. Anyways, but I am gonna keep checking it out until people say they don't want to see it anymore. But with that said, thank you all so much for watching. And is there anything else I forgot to say? I don't think there's anything else. I am curious, actually I will say, I am very curious how this ends. Does this story end with them swapping back to their original bodies? Or does it end with them both accepting their new situations permanently? And maybe even making up? I could probably see them making up in the future. That's the funny thing. Despite everything, I could see them making up because they're very different, but they're also kind of similar in some ways. But again, but that's for the future to worry about. Anyways, I'm enjoying this. But yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, my name is Mark. Never stop being yourself. Stay safe out there. And I will see all you incredible people once again in the very next video.